Good morning, everyone. Sarah Barker with the Empowering Aging podcast. I know you guys have been seeing a lot of me this week, but I am especially pleased to have our guest this morning, Latina Cho. She's the business development with ClearPath Home Care, and she's here today to share with us her very moving and powerful story about how she ended up working in the caregiving industry. Latina, thank you so much for being my guest today.
Thank you for having me. My name is Latina Cho, and I got into in-home care by taking care of a previous husband for 7 years with Alzheimer's and dementia. Decided to keep him at home and take care of him at home. I was previous a manager at CVS Pharmacy, and I stopped working there to stay home to take care of him.
So can you tell us about, what was that journey like in the beginning for you? When he was diagnosed or when you started having to be that family caregiver, what were the feelings you went through?
It was very hard. He would wake up every day scratching and itching. Like I accused me of putting stuff on him at nighttime that would make him itch. Um,
Um,
and I was trying to reach out and find out exactly what I needed to do. Where do I need to go? How do I need to take care of this?
mhm,
So I started out at my medical doctor and explained everything to them and took him in. And so they referred me to a neurologist and one of the best here in Fort Worth. And
mhm,
I went over and took him there. And the doctor took me to the back and she spoke with me without him around so I could
mhm.
explain everything to her that was going on. And so she helped me from that day on. Got me support from the Alzheimer's Association. I had a mentor from the Alzheimer's Association that came out and helped me. I don't think I could have made it through that journey without them. They were amazing.
So when you say you don't think you could have made it through the journey without them, it sounds like it was one of the most stressful and trying situations in your life, if not the most, right?
Yes, ma'am. It very was. He would run away from home. I'd have to go find him. The police officers knew me on a first name basis, and I don't get in trouble with the law, but they knew me on first name basis, and they would come over and get me from my apartment and take me to where he was. And then at that point in time, I moved him into an active senior living complex,
Mhm.
um, so he felt like he could be more safe.
Right, right. So you mentioned this itching and how he was accusing you of having put stuff on him to cause him to itch. How did you navigate that? Because I've had clients over the years where the person who has dementia becomes very accusatory towards their spouse, their children, whomever, and that can really be heartbreaking.
It was very heartbreaking. I would sit just at night, and if he just dozed off for a minute and cry, it was very hard for me. It was a very hard 7 years taking care of him. But
Mhm.
once we got past him accusing me of things, and I had to take everything out of my home. I did everything with a butter knife. I had to hide that in my drawer in my bedroom so he didn't know where it was, so I could cut tomatoes or onions or whatever I needed to cut. I did everything with the butter knife.
So can you explain the reasoning behind that? Why did you have to hide the knives and then hide the butter knife?
Because I felt like he was going to hurt him or hurt myself. Um,
Okay.
I felt like he was going to, pots and pans and stuff. I had very few of those in my home because I felt like he would get behind me. He was 6.5 feet tall, and he would get behind me, and I would always be on guard to make sure because my doctor just gave me all of the warning signs that I needed to look for that, an Alzheimer's client could do.
Okay.
And I took precautions. He would like to play with the cords and stuff in the kitchen. He would like to unplug them and plug them in and unplug them, and that's very dangerous. So I took everything out of the kitchen, that toasters and everything that plugged up.
Yeah. Did you have outside family support through this, or was this really just you and the support of the Alzheimer's Association?
It was basically just me and the Alzheimer's Association. I was a lot younger than my husband was, and my family thought maybe I should put him in a nursing home and go back to work and continue my life. And I felt like that was not the right choice to do, that he's my husband and I was going to take care of him.
That's wonderful. So, what were some of the other things? So, anybody in the audience listening right now who may be at the beginning of their family caregiver journey, what were some of the other issues that you guys had to go through? So, you've mentioned the itching. You've mentioned, there was the concern that he could possibly hurt himself, hurt you. It sounds like he was a wander risk, so he was running away. What was the experience like of his body is still there, but it's almost like you are, there's a term for it, and I can't remember right now, but you're starting to grieve the loss of your loved one, even though they're physically still there. What did that feel like?
It was it's very heartbreaking to watch your loved one deteriorate the way he did. It was, you go from being able to walk and not being able to walk, just sliding your feet. It got where I had to put him in a wheelchair to take him places, because I tried to still get him out so he could, try to still have life as long as he could. And I would take him places and do things with him and try to keep him active as much as I could, until it got to the point where he just wanted to stay home. He loved to watch Star Trek. I would put that on TV, and then he would just sit in his recliner and sleep most of the day.
Okay, okay. Um, can you tell us about your experience with the Alzheimer's Association? You've mentioned that they were incredibly supportive to you, but what did that support look like?
Back in that time, they had a mentor that would come out to your home. He would come out and visit me once every week, and it was really nice. And once he found out I had a caregiver that came in to help take care of my husband as well. I had a caregiver that came in 3 days a week to help me out, and the mentor would come on one of the days that the caregiver was there. And when the caregiver was there and he was there, he would just take me out to get a simple hamburger, just to get me away from the home for a little bit, because I was the main caregiver for a very long time, 24/7.
Yeah, so just to get a little reprieve, some respite. My good friend Mike Nally, Mike, thank you so much for tuning in again. Mike says, God bless you, Latina, for the sacrificial love you gave to your husband. Thank you for sharing your journey with us.
Thank you.
So when you were talking about how they would come and the caregiver and you would get out for a little bit, it doesn't sound like it was a whole lot of time that you were able to get out, but can you describe to the audience what just that little bit of time felt like for you, and perhaps maybe helping you to maintain your sanity?
Yes, ma'am. I had a list of things when the caregiver would come, of places I needed to go, and things I needed to do. So he come 3 days a week, and one of the days he come was on Sunday. So when he come during the 2 days during the week, I went to the grocery store. I did all my errands. Everybody that knew me in the community, they would see me out and they would just say hello and let me go, because they knew I had so much to do in so little time.
I just want to reach through here and hug you right now, because I haven't been through this journey, but I can feel, right, how stressful and how heartbreaking the whole thing was for you. So, right, you had so much to do. What is your advice for somebody going through this situation right now, whether they're at the beginning, in the middle, nearing the end? What's your biggest advice for them?
You need support. You need good caregivers that can come in and help you take care of your loved one. And it does you good just to get out and be able to get out and go and do something. If I didn't have time or the money to go to, like, get my nails done, or, anything like that. I ran into a lady that was taking care of her husband, a friend of mine with dementia. and I could tell she was overwhelmed. So I went and I got her a spa day for her to go and do her nails and her toenails. And I went and sat with her husband for her so she could have a whole day out. And I had her, she had her nails done, and I bought her lunch and everything. And she got to go out and do that by herself.
Oh, man. So everything that you went through, 7 years is a long time, right?
Yes.
And so you're describing how you've been there for your friend, and you're in a role with ClearPath Home Care, which is, a caregiving agency serving multiple areas in Texas. How do you feel your personal caregiving journey plays into the way that you show up to your position with ClearPath?
I love that I've got the opportunity to do what I do. I have done this for 10 plus years now, and I love it, especially when I have a client that I'm going to sign up that their family's going through with their loved one, Alzheimer's and dementia. We can sit there and we can talk about my story and listen to what they're going through, and maybe I could be a helpful person to them.
Do you feel like it allows you to truly empathize with them?
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can literally say, I understand what you're going through because you went through it.
Yes, ma'am.
So how can anybody listening in the audience to this story, Latina, I think really what I want all of you guys to understand is that Latina is not just a home care business developer, definitely brings this real life experience she had of being a caregiver for 7 years for her husband who had dementia, all the trials and tribulations behind that, and can really relate to the families. So what I would like us to do as an audience is do everything that we can to help Latina. And so, Latina, if you don't mind, share with the audience what geographic territory you cover. So if anybody's listening and maybe they need to have a conversation with you about some care options for their loved one, or they know somebody who needs to have the conversation, could you share which territory you cover?
Yes, I cover all of Tarrant County and Parker County and Weatherford.
Okay. And then also, when it comes to supporting people, right, it's not always through just a direct referral, but also getting you connected to the right types of professionals. So, what sorts of referral sources are you looking to be connected with?
I can help with anybody that needs any help out there. I'm more than welcome to, connect with them. I work with different home health agencies, hospice agencies, um, going to facilities. I do make it a point to go to, I was at a facility the other day and call in bingo for the Alzheimer's memory care. I love working in memory care. I stopped by and visited memory care yesterday, and one of the ladies there, she wanted me to go to dinner with her. And so I walked over to the table with her and got her all seated down and ready for her dinner. And then when the food started coming out, she said, "Well, you can go now." And I said, "Okay." And so off I went. But I love, being able to go into the memory cares and helping out at these different facilities, volunteering time for them as well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing that. And we're going to go ahead and remind the audience again at the end what territories you cover. So, in case they know of anybody that needs to have a care options conversation. When it comes to your journey, right, we've already mentioned it a few times now. 7 years was a lot. But when your husband passed away, I don't know because I haven't been through this journey, right? But it would seem to me you're at such a heightened state of stress and basically going through this traumatic situation yourself. When he passed away, what did you feel like? Was it almost in shock? Was there, sad to say it, but almost some feelings of relief as well that then I could imagine that then would cause a person to feel semi-guilty about too, right? Having this sense of relief. But what did it all feel like when he finally passed away?
Well, it was when he got put on hospice and got completely bedridden. He laid in the bed for 21 days with no food or water. And that was very hard to be there every single day with him, knowing he could still hear me, but that's the only thing. He would squeeze my finger or something like that. I would try to give him little ice cubes. I would crush ice and try to give him a little bit. And the hospice is like, it's not doing any good, but if it's making you feel better, then that's what we want you to do. So they, once he passed away that night, I prayed that he would pass away in the middle of the night.
Mhm.
My social worker told me, that I feel like that he was going to pass away that night, and they were all there with me. The whole hospice team was there with me as well. And it was he passed away at 11 o'clock at night,
Okay.
because I lived in an active senior living complex and I was very close to all the residents. And I did not want them to have to, be outside when they come and picked him up and put him and took him out to the funeral home. So my wishes were granted, and it was after midnight before they come and picked him up, and it
Mhm.
just made that process a little bit easier for me. Um,
Mhm. Mhm.
so then the next day, I was just sitting there like, what am I going to do? Because I wasn't working at the time, and we were living, off of the money, that Social Security that he had. And
Mhm.
so 2 days after he passed away, I had to get up and go out and look for a job.
Right, right. How did you traverse all these emotions? I mean, that's such a heightened state of stress and so much responsibility. Being that family caregiver, to sounds like there was a sense of peace, right, when he passed away because of the suffering, and now all of a sudden you're you know having to immediately shift and get back into life. So, did you utilize the support from hospice, the grief counseling?
I didn't go to grief counseling. There, they did have gentlemen come out and speak with me, and they did offer that to me. I felt like I had to deal with it in my own way because I was
Mhm.
a lot younger than my husband was,
Mhm.
and so I felt like I just need to deal with it. And so, the apartment complex I lived in, they made me a part of an activities director as well, so I got to do things with the seniors there.
Mhm.
And then I went on 2 interviews. In the second interview I went on, I got hired. And so I went to work as a caregiver and worked with the family and kind of did a live in with them. I worked 160 something hours a week after my husband passed away. And every day after I got off work, I went to the cemetery for about 2 weeks
Mhm.
solid. And then I decided, I can't be doing this every day.
Right.
So I just had to cope with it in my own way, and get through it. And I did. And I felt like I did very well. Being around people made it better for me.
Mhm.
So that's why I took the caregiving job and
Mhm.
worked there. And then I got, promoted into the office, and then just started learning everything about the in home care business.
And how long ago when did he pass away?
He passed away in 2015.
Okay. And so it sounds like it was shortly after he passed away that you entered into the home care industry. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. 1 week after he passed away, I started working.
Okay. And what has that been like for you? Do you feel like um, why? I mean, you could have found a different job right by now, but you've stuck with the home care industry. What is it that you enjoy about the home care industry?
I
Why do you
love
keep doing it?
I love taking care of seniors. I love helping seniors. And at the end of the day, I feel like that I've really accomplished something, by getting to go and helping them. If it's helping them take a shower, or if it was helping them, just going to the grocery store or doing something simple. I took care of a client that was mom and son team, and we had birthday party. I had a birthday party for him. I did birthday parties for my clients. Just any little thing that I could do to make their life, just to make them smile or make them happy, it made me feel good.
And then can you share with the audience, because I'm very familiar with ClearPath Home Care, adored everybody at ClearPath Home Care. I would argue that they are the best home care company in the entire nation, right? That's how much I love ClearPath. So, how did you end up crossing paths with ClearCare and starting your position in business development for ClearPath?
I know a friend that has known me for a very long time, and she knew I was looking for a job, and she knew JM and Michelle, and she had gave them my phone number, and she texted me that night and said, I gave them your phone number, and they're going to be calling and interviewing you. They called and interviewed me. Wonderful, wonderful people. They told me all about them and the company and everything like that. And when I got off of that interview, I prayed that ClearPath was going to bring me on as an employee. And sure enough, a few days later, they called and offered me the job. And I'm very, very blessed to be able to work for such a wonderful company.
Yes. Well, I'm so happy that you were hired too. They are definitely wonderful people. Everybody on the team is. Okay. Well, Latina, so with the focus of being your caregiving journey with your husband, is there any final advice that you have for a wife who may be in the same position that you were?
I would suggest, reach out, let someone help you. I was that person that felt like, hey, I can do it all. I'm superwoman. It's very, very hard to do it on your own. So I always say, hey, there's resources out there. Reach out, let us help you. If even if it's just, I tell people that I run into, here's my card, here's my phone number. Even if you need to talk, just give me a call. I will spend the time to talk to you,
Mhm,
because I know it's hard and I know what they're going through.
mhm.
So a lot of people, I know it's hard for them to reach out, and it's kind of hard to say, I'm going to leave my loved one here and I need to run to the grocery store, because you feel guilty. But don't feel guilty, because you still have to do your stuff as well. And you got to take care of your stuff to be able to take care of your loved one.
That's great advice. And I like what you're saying. You're willing to talk to anybody, right? What harm is there in having a conversation and starting to learn at least about the resources that exist, right? Just
Right.
because somebody has a conversation with you about their loved one and the resources doesn't mean that you're going to force them into signing some contract, right? It starts with just a conversation so they can understand what's available. So, again, for the audience, Latina, could you please remind everybody where you are able to help families, which geographic areas in Texas?
I'm in all of Tarrant County and Parker County.
Okay. And then how can people connect with you if they want to learn more about you, schedule, a conversation with you about their loved one and ClearPath Home Care Services? What's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
They can give me a call. I'm on LinkedIn and I'm also on Facebook.
Okay. What's a good telephone number for them to call?
817 719 7593.
Wonderful. And I'll be sure to, when I post the recording, I'll share the contact information and your LinkedIn profile. I really appreciate you sharing your journey with us today. And I would encourage anybody in the audience, if you are going through the journey right now, being a family caregiver, whether it's for your spouse, as Latina did, or for your aging parents, I highly recommend that you reach out to her and just start with a conversation, okay? Because she is uniquely positioned to be able to help you navigate through the feelings that you're having with this journey, as well as connect you to the resources that you might need. So, Latina, thank you so much for being my guest today.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Take care, everyone.